What's going on, people of SailorturntGamer? We are back in the building and we're coming at you with another Anthem video. With everything going wrong right now in Anthem, we actually got a response from Bioware today. Jesse Anderson, the community manager for Anthem, has something to say and we're going to talk all about it. So stay here and you'll be officially up to date on the latest in Anthem. If you're new to the channel, I'm an up-and-coming content creator. I also stream at twitch.tv/SailorturntGamer if you ever want to catch us live. If you enjoy the video, please be sure to give it a like and a share and join the fleet by hitting that sub button. Enough about that. Let's get into the news, shall we? So, to start things off, Jesse Anderson, our lovely community manager, wanted to simply talk about some things regarding what's going on right now. So, he started the conversation off talking about communication. Pre-game release versus post-game release. To start, things used to be a lot friendlier here for dev team members who normally don't talk on social channels or forums. They can answer questions, give information, and know that they aren't going to have people upset with them. Why would a dev team member take away time from working on the next update to post when they know they're most likely going to be met with hostile replies? Or why would they do that knowing that they're going to get flamed because they can't answer other questions that players are asking? Says Jesse, he doesn't mind posting on Reddit when things aren't so nice because it's his job. He's the community manager. That's what he's supposed to do. But for the devs, that's not their job. They're not supposed to manage the community. They're supposed to work on developing the game. And personally, he liked to ask people to remember that when you reply to the developers or himself, when people say be nice or the devs won't stop posting, you know, it's true. Like, if people aren't nice, the devs will stop posting because the last thing they want to hear is just people being mean. Like, they understand that the game isn't where it needs to be, and they're working on that. And just remember to be respectful and constructive with feedback because it's the best way to help them to be able to tackle issues. So, regarding aggravating the community by acknowledging trivial things over major issues, he wanted to talk about this because he knows sometimes when they go live or whatever the situation may be, it seems like they're ignoring us. So this is his take on that. He's been acknowledging issues that aren't the major ones that people in the community have mentioned, but that's because the non-trivial issues are things that can possibly be resolved. The idea and concept behind this is because he can quickly check in on those things and work with the team to see how fast they can get the issues fixed. He also talked about the fact that he reported major issues, but until he gets a word back from anyone, there's really nothing else he can do or say because he has to get a response back from someone to let us know, well, what's the turnaround fix on that? Some of those issues that I'm talking about are things like Masterwork Embers not dropping. He can bring things like that quickly to the attention of the team and they can get them fixed. Also, he thinks that it's better that he address those things as quickly as possible instead of doing anything at all. He also wanted to say that he tried to say things like, thanks for the feedback, or I'll share them with the team too many times because, you know, that can kind of make you almost seem like you're not even being sincere when you say things like that. But what about loot? All Jesse can do at this point is point out what studio leadership shares on channels. They are very aware of all the conversation going on around loot, and when they have more details to share, he'll share them. But as of right now, I guess they don't have anything for us. Now for the EA help tweet about quick play. The reason we ask for this information is to help us track down the remaining issues players are experiencing in quick play in one location, and to get more specifics on what they are doing when they encounter the issue. Having all the information helps the team track down the bugs faster. That means they're more likely to fix the issue, which means they can move on to other parts of the game a lot quicker. Basically, they didn't want to make it, they're not trying to say like, hey, we need testers, but they are trying to say that if you guys are experiencing these issues, let us know so that way we can begin to correlate a pattern in which to fix it. This is what he had to say about that. I'll leave it up to you guys to make your own opinions and thoughts on that message. So let's move on and talk about being confidential about the patch notes. I said before this, but nothing was hidden on purpose in the patch notes. The truth is, patch notes come together late in the update process, and Jesse Anderson, our community manager, does everything to make sure that these things are accurate. But sometimes things slip with all the moving pieces that can happen. I rather much put together patch notes even if they're missing a few things instead of doing a generic one that says various bug fixes and improvements. I'll work with the team to get this process a lot better, but we still may be missing things from time to time in the future. Things will basically just not be perfect, but the goal is to try your best to be perfect. Those of you that don't know, he's referring to the latest patch note 1.03, where there were some things that were missing from that patch note, and the community discovered those things, as well as Jesse Anderson having to submit a Reddit post a little bit after the release of the patch to clarify officially some of the things that is patched. If you guys are curious about that, I will leave a card as well as a link in the description box to that video that I covered the missing things in the patch. You guys can check that out for your enjoyment. The goal is to never hide or nerf or change things in the patch notes on purpose. Even if it's something they know the community won't like, they still want to remain transparent. If they put something that the community doesn't like, they'll do their best to explain why the change was made, so that way the community can understand this is why they did it. He wanted to talk about the confidentialness with patch notes, just to clarify that they're not trying to hide anything, even if it seems that way. Again, I'll leave that up to you guys to decide how you feel about that particular thing, but that's what he wanted to say. So let's move on to not learning from your previous mistakes. I'm not going to comment on the first 2 points because it didn't work out on Andromeda. I know some players feel a certain way about EA, but I do want to talk to you about addressing how they're going to handle the feedback. For feedback, they've made a large number of changes based on what players have mentioned. Not wanting to run to the Forge every time to launch an expedition. Kind of silly. Hopefully that means, since he's bringing it up, they're going to change that in the future. They've added the ability to launch anywhere in Fort Tarsis. That was because of player feedback. Wanted to visually see loot drops from bosses and strongholds. That was because of player feedback. If you're talking about feedback on loot in general, which 99% of the community is, I've already said that the team is discussing that, and more likely they'll be sharing things in the coming days. I want everyone to know when that will be, and I will let you guys know. As of right now, I don't have an answer. They're not trying to purposely ignore any feedback from the player. Sometimes it just takes a little bit longer than what is anticipated to get an answer. They don't want to give incorrect information. That's pretty much the last thing they want to do. I'll leave that up to you guys to decide how you feel about that. The gist of that is that they are trying to make things better. They are taking our player feedback into consideration, and some of the quality of life changes that we've gotten in the past, specifically from that 1.03 patch, was because of player feedback. So don't feel like you guys aren't being listened to or being heard. It's just a lot. I'm not making any defenses for these guys. I'm just reporting the facts, and I want you guys to understand what's going on within the community. So, let's talk a little bit more about discarding feedback. Honestly, reading this kind of stings a bit because I've never discarded feedback. I love the community, and I'm very thankful for everything that has been brought up, such as feedback, bugs reports, any type of hilarious posts, and everything in between. Jesse's open to feedback on what the community would like to see. They want people to feel like they're welcomed and appreciated, because that's exactly how they feel. They will continue to conduct their live streams and blog posts, things like the inscription write-ups that were done. I got a video on that, various patch notes that will come out in the future. And they enjoy it when the community helps out with issues that they've had to help continue to create that bridge and keep that built. They're always listening and willing to make changes, so never forget that, which is more of him harping on the changes that we've got from 1.03. As far as the lack of content, I'm not going to go in this too much. That's unfortunate. It's areas that he doesn't necessarily have control over, or he doesn't have the exact information on how the team's going to address that particular issue. I know that relaying the feedback from the community to the team on all of these issues is something that I've already done. The team is definitely aware that the community feels like there is a lack of content, and they are doing a lot of stuff right now to fix that. Those are his words, not mine. Now, one of the last few things we want to talk about is turning a good game bad. All I can say on this is that Anthem is here to stay. Do we have a lot of work to do to fix the parts of the game? That's a definite yes. And the team is committed to making improvements on releasing new content. We don't have a timetable on that, so that could be weeks, months, who knows. All I know is that this game desperately needs to make some changes for the betterment of the game. Lastly, he wanted to thank the community for pretty much everything that they've been doing, what you guys have been doing, what we all have been doing. We've been trying to put our feedback in the mix of everything that's going on. Whether good or bad, it's all feedback that they need to take in stride, which is what he's letting us know. This is what's happening within the game. I was hoping that we would get a little bit more information from that, but we got a solid answer. And hopefully that's something that the entire community can appreciate. It's something that I can appreciate, because I feel like a solid answer is a lot better than silence any day of the week. I know we all want to see faster updates. This is something that it's going to take time. It's just a matter of if it's going to be days, weeks, months, or years. I hoping for something more on the line of weeks and months rather than years, and I'm doubtful of days. But either way, change is going to come. If anybody made it this far in the video, I just want to say thank you, and I really appreciate you guys tuning in. This has been SailorturntGamer. I just wanted to give you guys a fantastic update on the state of the game, and if you guys enjoyed this video, again, please be sure to give it a like and a share. It helps us grow, and it helps us get this information out to other people that love Anthem just like we do. Until then, this sailor be out in the open ocean. Peace.